Hello, everybody. So, I've seen some posts lately about people who aren't certified for level one, or it's also called pre VIP. Just as a quick FYI, those are the same thing. But people who have been scheduled for lessons and they're not certified, and then they're like, oh no, what do I do? So, first, you can send in a ticket and say, I'm not certified, but most likely you'll get the response that most of them have gotten, which is just teach it anyways. And I mean, of course, you could use one of your cancellations, but I mean, you only get six in a contract. So weigh out the pros and cons of that. And so this video, I'm just trying to give some quick tips if this happens to you that hopefully you can make it through the lesson and feel okay. Because I know some of you may teach only upper level or even level threes, and you're like, I don't want to do level one. um, First off, maybe you'll like it. Second off, maybe you won't, and that's okay. But you can make it through this one lesson, and hopefully, you won't get scheduled for another one. But one of the reasons why people have been started to get scheduled is because level one is actually their biggest market. So many parents are wanting their students to start younger. If you don't know, pre VIP or level one is based on age instead of ability. And so you can get three, four, and even 5 year olds in this group. And I know some people have had stories of even teaching younger, which that doesn't usually happen. Hopefully, it won't to you. So they can range in their levels. So the assessment at the beginning, just your discussion with them and how they interact with you, can really change how your lesson goes. So, first off, make sure that you have looked at the lesson. So, look at the lesson material. Level one has been getting updated, so it's been changing. So make sure that you just look at that either on your phone or wherever it is. Just have an idea. So also you can have props because level one, you need to have props. You need to have things available. Make sure to smile. Sometimes these kids can be scared. Make sure to say hi parents, to grandparents. What I notice is usually parents are very helpful in level one. Um, they usually don't overcorrect. They do help, like usually keep them in front of the screen, and sometimes they don't. And I'm sorry, but for the most part, in my experience, they've been very helpful. So that's like when you ask their name, usually they'll help the child. If you don't know their name, it's okay, move on. Just being friendly and warm is a really important part to that. Next, like I said, I had mentioned having props. So know the lesson so that you can have fun things that you can show them, whether it's using the color cards for the trials. I think it's blue, yellow, and pink or something. And I also love this is probably my one of my most used items with pre-VAP, and it's puppets. And I don't necessarily use them the whole time, but I actually love having puppets that for my shy kids because if they're shy at the beginning, I'll have like, "Ooh, ah," and then the kid usually will start looking, and I'll feed him, or he'll bite me, or do funny things. That starts to get the kid's attention and helps them feel better. And here's another one. He'll be shy and he'll look. Or even playing peekaboo. This was at IKEA. I think it was $4. Um, but just having something that the kid can feel comfortable with, because sometimes they won't want to talk to you, but they'll feel comfortable talking to a puppet. Or even sometimes there's some students who you may have to do the lesson to the puppet, and they may or not listen, may or may not interact in the lesson. So that's a big one that I've seen, and it really helps a lot of the kids come out of their shell. And so that would be one. Have a fun reward and just doing silly things. Like, I mean, if you use digital rewards, you can find some that like are Hello Kitty or things like that. Or some really popular ones is I already mentioned feeding my puppet. I'll just feed them different things. Like the sillier the better. And so like with this, I'll be like, elephant? Should he eat it? Yes or no? And the kid can decide, and often they'll be like, yeah. And then they'll be like, oh, no. Then, and that's our reward. And usually there's an interactive reward as well. Another cute one is putting stickers on your face. The kids love that. Um, and of course, it always depends on the student. But there's just doing funny, silly things usually works really well. Next, a quick few things to understand about level one. You don't need to do full sentences. Now, some of the students may be able to, and if they are, I usually try and push them to do it. But if not, we focus on those target words, and and they may have a target sentence of like, my name is something very short, and that may be the only sentence we do the whole time. But other than that, if you're just like, what color is this? And if they say blue, great. Of course, if they're in upper level, this is blue. So, I mean, of course, but understand that they don't have to do full sentences. Next, mouth placement is super important because you're teaching letter name, you're teaching sounds, you're teaching new words. And so, don't be afraid to show correct mouth placement. I think I had said letter placement before, mouth placement. So, when you're doing those sounds, and you can have visuals and to show how to make those sounds to help those students. And it really helps the parents be able to see that as well. Also, TPR, don't forget it. The ITPR really helps the student. This is how they really start learning how to interact in VIP Kid. Circle, drag, and drop. It is an interactive lesson, so drag and drop is something important to do. Educational TPR, make sure that you're doing something fun when you're doing those. Animals, pig, or whatever it is, a fly, whatever you're teaching. Make sure to use that TPR and try and get the student to do it. Next, singing. They love songs. And I know that you may not, but for this one lesson, maybe just throw it out the window. Doesn't matter if you sing well or not. I guess you could try and find some other option, but the kids love it. They really do. Maybe have your puppet sing, do a silly voice or something. And energy, you will feel drained, especially if you've never taught a level one. By the end of your first lesson, you will be tired. And you'll be grateful you don't do a lot of them in a row. Some people, they have the endurance and they're used to it and they can do tons of level ones. I usually like to have at least another class space between. That's personal preference though. I do like it, but it does. It requires energy because if you're not putting it out, then the student does not they don't find interest in it. And last, try and have fun. I know that you may not be certified for this for a reason, but if you end up teaching one of these classes, just try and roll with it. Enjoy it for what it is. If any of you have any tips on what you would say to these teachers who aren't certified but end up teaching in class, please put them below. Good luck to all of you if this ends up happening. Hopefully, you can find a way to enjoy it. Hopefully, these tips help, and have a great day.